We're going live. We might already be live. What's up, everybody? It's Tyler with Hooksets Are Free. It is Friday night, October the 7th, 2022. Hope everybody's doing well, whether you're watching this live or on the replay. If you're watching this on the replay, do me a quick favor, hit that thumbs up button. We are going to do a live unboxing tonight of a bait that I have been waiting since I first heard about it. I'm going to fill you guys in just 1 minute once I give everybody a chance to hop in here to join for this live stream. I don't see anybody in here right now, but that number could be off. I see Matt, South Jersey Fisherman, in the house. What's up, Matt? How you doing tonight, dude? Good to see you. Cheers. Happy Friday night. Matt should be excited about what is in this box. And by box, I mean package. As you can see, there's not a lot in here, but I do want to mention something about Discount Tackle, because this came from Discount Tackle, and you know, you got to be on the ball when it comes to acquiring some of the best stuff that Discount Tackle gets. They, just like all other retailers, have really good relationships with some companies, and therefore have kind of early access to certain baits that other companies, other retailers wouldn't. And so I try to take advantage of that myself. One, by just checking regularly on the website, on the homepage. As you scroll down about halfway, they do have a specific section called New Arrivals, which essentially is new products that they've put up on the website that's not going to refresh products that already exist and have been restocked. So that's unfortunate that you can't be privy and in the know when it comes to restocks unless you have an individual product flagged on Discount Tackle. So let's just say you wanted this Shimano Macbeth Big Boy 75 square bill crankbait and it was out of stock. You go to this product and to that color and you click the button next to what would be like add to my cart, and it's notify me. So they will send you an email when that product is back in stock and available for purchase. But otherwise, there's not really a good way to know when things are back in stock. So that said, let me just reiterate the point that Discount Tackle does carry a lot of good products. They carry new products, and they sometimes get stuff in before other people. So follow them on social media and just check their website from time to time, and you might stumble into something like I did here, which I'm super excited about. So Matt, hopefully you do go fishing tomorrow. Hopefully you catch some fish, man. Michael Bradley, what's up, dude? Bruce Nichols, yo. He says, I'll be damned. I'm on time. What's up? Daniel T, fishing the Southeast. Hello, Bass. Is this thing on? I think so. I'm pretty sure it is. Rich, I caught just a short bit of your live stream earlier. Sorry I didn't jump in on the comments section, but guys, I got, I think, 4 baits in here, and I'm pumped about all of them. Let's start with the slightly less exciting, but still one that I'm pumped about. Tim Maynard, Frank Doucette, what's up, guys? How you doing tonight? So Shimano Macbeth, I just mentioned it. Here it is in a so Discount Tackle has gotten some of the Macbeth series in stock in a bunch of colors. Initially, I bought these giant 75s because they were the only one that they had a couple colors in stock. Otherwise, they really had this clear green craw color in like all 4 baits. But since then, a couple of the baits have been stocked with other colors. So this is the Macbeth 50 50F. Okay, so this is a super shallow diving square bill crankbait. Not even technically a square bill, but this guy is somewhere between a wake bait and a super shallow diving crankbait. So this is like a 1 foot diver, and check her out. So they make the Macbeth in a square bill from a tiny size to a maybe small, medium, and large. They make the Macbeth in a bunch of different sizes, and then they make a flat side, and then they make this guy that is the same body style, same body shape as what you get with the Macbeth square bills. Different lip on there, super steep, and yeah, little short body profile on this. So for what it is, pretty sweet deal. This is a 2-inch long bait, 50 millimeters, and it weighs a ½ ounce. So super castable. I got this color for the sake of visibility, being able to see through the bait, which you can't see very well right now, but this color is just called Pro Blue. And then I got one other color in it, this bluegill color, which looks pretty rad. Tom Mix came over here from Hellabass. Simon Zare, what's up? What's up? F50. That's what this guy is right here. So this is a very natural bluegill pattern. Even more subtle than it looks in pictures. And it's called bluegill. What do you know? So you got those very like custom hand painted eyes on these guys. But anyway, pretty exciting bait here. Not quite a wake bait. It will wake on the surface, but also have a pretty wide wobbling action, just 6 inches to a foot beneath the surface. So there have been a lot of scenarios for me this year where I kind of wish that I had a crankbait that would dive just below the surface. Not quite a wake bait, but also not something that's going to go 2 to 4, 3 to 5 feet deep. So I'm pretty excited to give this a shot. There's no rattles in these things. They're super silent, wide swimming action on these guys. I'll give you a little bit of a report on those as soon as I fish them. All right. Brendan says those have a very similar action to a Curve 55 finesse square bill. Both are great baits. Interesting. The Curve 55 doesn't have a super erratic action, and I thought that this might have a little bit wider of a wobble with the fat body, but I take your word for it, dude. We'll see about that. Now, the other thing in here, it's one other thing. All right, that's really why we're here. We're 8 minutes into the live stream. I want to be able to show you guys early and have a chance to talk about it for a few minutes. So, without any further ado, all right, Caro in the house. What's up, Caro? How you doing, guys? This right here is the Shimano Arma Joint. This is the new swim bait released at ICAST 2022. This guy is super fresh on the market. I haven't really seen anybody get their hands on them. So this is what I was mentioning when I say that Discount Tackle has some good relationships with some companies, and they managed to get their hands on some baits before other companies. So where I haven't seen this in stock, and you're not going to see it on stock at Tackle Warehouse or otherwise for another month or two, this baby came in and flew out very quickly at Discount Tackle. So make sure that you're following them on social media and occasionally checking their webpage. You'll notice an extra tail comes stock in the pack as well. And straight out of the package, they've got this tail sealed up for you, which is pretty cool, so that there's no chance of it being bent straight out of the pack. But let's go ahead and take this guy out so that we can see what the tail is made of. It's a very soft plastic, but it's, well, I guess it is stretchy. Okay. So it comes with a spare tail. This is a double jointed bait, as you can see. One main joint and then a second rear joint that does not have a ton of play. Okay. Yeah, Rich, a banquet is tasting pretty sweet right now, dude. All right, guys. So Matt was giving me a hard time last week for not jumping on getting the Megabass Sewage um, multi-jointed wake bait, crankbait. Um, and I was a little bit bummed about it too, but it was more about availability of colors and me just dilly-dallying. Um, which I did with that, and I did not do with this. I was super pumped to see this. I've been waiting for this bait and was always going to get one. I decided to get two while they were in stock. So this bait comes in at 190 millimeters, 7.5 inches long. It weighs 53 grams or 1 7/8, not quite 2 ounces. So this is a fairly castable, very manageable bait. Um, it is a slow floater, and it claims that the diving depth is just 0 to 1 feet. So I am excited about that. And the fact that this is meant to be fished high in the water column. So that's a big reason that I picked up this rainbow trout pattern. Um, and to be honest, this bait is just loaded with features. So there's a number of things that we can and should talk about. But let me just catch up on these comments real quick. Um, yeah, Matt, I'm not going to store this with other baits, but I appreciate you mentioning that. You know, for baits that have tails that are made from an elastomer style stretchy material, you ought not store these with other baits. But interesting, this pin is sticking out of the belly here, and I'm not really sure if that's how you release the tail or what. It looks like it is. That's how the tail is attached, but it's kind of weird that it protrudes from the body so much. So, anyway, I don't know if that's a big deal, but regardless, let me just kind of work you through this bait piece by piece. I don't believe it has any sort of sound. Little bit of some weights shifting around in there. Um, But as I mentioned, this rear joint doesn't do a whole lot. It's this front joint that does do a whole lot. Okay. So this is something you're not going to see in other baits, is a joint that not only has a lot of play in it, but then will allow it to hinge and swing and fold up on itself. That is the whole point of this design, is so that this bait will fold up on itself and stay together. I believe it's either magnetic or something, but it folds like this on cast and will travel, sail through the air, fold first, so that it's aerodynamic as it's flying through the air. So apparently the casting distance that you get out of this bait is way better than what you'd get out of a comparable size bait that tends to have significant issues with helicoptering. So that is a very unique design there that allows this hinge to swing all the way and then still allow it to return to normal and have this be the joint angle. Okay. It's not going to swing all the way. When I bring it back to center, it has like a subtle click in place. So let me see if I can show you. When I bring this back together, so that rises up there, and when I bring this back, it clicks. I don't know if you heard that, but this joint kind of settles back to where it's supposed to be. Um, so I don't know. I mean, it's a really cool design, super steep joint. So you would think it's going to have a very wide swing, but I don't know how much of that is for the casting. We'll have to see. So then it's also got the flash boost inside, which all of the new Shimano products, ranging from their popper to their jerk bait, to their crankbaits, and now this swim bait, have the flash boost in them. So I think that is something that is just going to, add that little extra something, that secondary action, while this bait is moving slowly or perhaps even being dead sticked on the surface. So I've got a number of places where rainbow trout are stocked and where I think this bait is going to do really well. So I am super pumped. It's cool to see the color scheme on here and the like shine that is underneath the plastic of this bait. So this is almost one of these baits where the paint job is internal. So very cool. And then the last thing that I did want to mention is the hook system. I haven't. This is the first time I've pulled this out of the package, held one of these in my hands, and I'm showing it to you instead of looking at it myself. But oh, cool. Okay, so this guy, you can see there's like this harness system, and this will hold the eye of the hook. This will click in place. Um, I believe it somehow does it automatically. How was that in there in the first place? Oh, okay. So it's not like this is magnetic or anything, but it does have a release system. So as you can see right now, the hook eye is plugged in here. And then as the fish gets leverage and pulls, this will come free and then have quite a bit more range of movement. So this is designed to punch back in here and stay kind of tucked up for a more streamlined profile. Both of the hooks do that on this bait. So, I'm not really sure what to think about that feature and whether I like it or not. It feels like it's something that you would need to reset, kind of punch those back in. But I don't know. Either way, I'm excited about this bait. And let's talk about it for a few minutes. I want to see what you guys are thinking, and then I'll show you the other color pattern that I got. So, Matt says that's the best color they did in that bait. Well, thank you. Yeah, I'm excited about this color too, man. Front end is pretty damn chunky. Yeah, it kind of looks like the nose of like a Gancraft or something, a little bit like a jointed claw. Has that narrow profile too, but cast 40% further is what they claim. Yeah, yeah. It's hard to believe, little claims like that straight out of the gate before you've tried it or anything, but seeing it on video, Um, it's hard also not to believe it to a certain extent, right? It's a cool concept that is truly innovative. This bait did not get enough attention at ICAST, in my opinion. So, um, yeah, I think it should have been right up there and even a winner, if we're being honest. Okay, last color that I got. Tim says for casting and hookup ratio, I believe. Pretty slick design. Tim's never had problems casting glide baits. Yeah, probably just you, man, because that is a general problem. The hook is magnetic as well. No, I don't think they're magnetic, Matt. I just showed you, but I'm sorry I'm behind on comments. Um, Adam says the iSlide has magnets. Yeah, that is true. All right. Sorry, guys. Brennan says I'm not a big fan of magnets on baits. That seems to be more thought out. Yeah, I don't know, man. It definitely will keep them in there, but you have to set them yourself. So anyway, the other color that I got, which I think was really my second favorite color, but what is this guy called? I don't think it's even labeled on the package. ST Purple. That first one was ST Trout. This one is ST Purple. Yeah, that's a good looking color. It's a little bit more purpley than blue. I know it probably appears blue to you, and it is right up here on the nose, but it's quite a bit more purple on the rest of the back. And then it's got this gold chartreuse line down toward the top of the bait, and that goldish cheek, and then it's got a whole lot of flash. This is like a sexy shad, threadfin shad type of color. And yeah, it looks pretty wicked. So Rich says it didn't get attention at ICAST because it didn't look like a chipmunk or a praying mantis. Yeah, that's a good point. You know, ICAST really is just a gimmick contest, game changers, if you will. But why wasn't this getting attention for being a game changer in the swim bait game? You get people looking at or caring more about the Zaldangerous swim bait for Bass Mafia, or at least talking about it, than you do with the Arma Joint 190. So, what a cool bait this is, guys. I'll let you know if it's all if it's everything it is hyped up to be. If it is what it's hyped up to be, does that make sense? The bait retails for $42.99. So I mean, literally, these four baits cost me $107. But I was excited about seeing them in stock, so I just jumped at the opportunity, especially with the Arma joint, but also kind of while I was at it with those Macbeth crankbaits. I am going to get a couple of all of the Macbeth crankbaits eventually, because quite honestly, I think that this big guy is the one that I will likely throw the least out of all of the sizes. I don't throw oversized square bills all that frequently. I think their standard 63 size is going to be my go-to. This is a big bait right here. Their tiny size, I think, is going to be too small and is going to be more like what I ran into with the little wattle bats. They make a tiny square bill that is like a 1.5 inch size. and I think it's a tiny little guy. So I probably won't get that one, um, but you never know. So it is about that time of the month where I have my cart loaded up at Discount Tackle as we speak, and am about to place my order for the month of October. So I am curious if you guys have any feedback or recommendations, things that you want me to purchase. I may or may not take that into consideration. I already have the cart loaded down, as I told you, and it's mostly soft plastics that I'm looking at uh, getting this upcoming month. So, hey, Rich, good night to you as well, man. Got to get your cold weather gear clothes out. Okay, good luck in your tournament, man. Cheers. Thanks for stopping by. Um, so yeah, we can talk about my discount tackle order in a moment, but first, I'll show you a couple other things that I picked up. Um, Nothing crazy exciting. I did get another Megabass sleeper gill, which is upstairs in another bluegill color, a little bit more natural. No, it's a pumpkin seed color. And then I was down in Colorado Springs for my daughter's 7-year-old birthday, seventh birthday, I should say, just last weekend. And they have a Shields down there. And I had never been to a Shields in my life. And it was pretty cool. So, it's like Bass Pro on steroids. It's just it's crazy how they pack so much stuff into a tight area, but they carry different products, some different products than what you see in Bass Pro or in Cabela's. So that was exciting, cool to see. And the stuff that I picked up isn't all that exciting. Um, I did get a Mini Max chatterbait in the gizzard shad color. So this is a very natural gizzard shad with some, iridescence to that skirt and a light green back. And so I peeked around for a trailer while I was in there because I was just shopping around. And I thought size wise that this guy might actually match pretty dang well. So I got one pack of the small 3.5-inch Yodo worm, and this is what it looks like on the Mini Max rigged up. So from a size standpoint, I think that it's pretty perfect. As you can see, I did not trim down the trailer at all. In fact, I rigged it a little bit too far back. So you'll see that I had to kind of tear the plastic to get it to lay flat. But regardless, that 3.5-inch length, I think, works well. I had to trim down the skirt a reasonable amount, but I like the profile of this downsized chatterbait quite well. And I think that this trailer is going to work well. And then I also picked up a pack of Berkeley Gillies because they had a whole bunch of colors and sizes there, and they haven't been easy to come by. So it was interesting seeing them all side by side right there, like on the shelves. You can see the sizes for yourself, and all of a sudden it became apparent to me that the 110 size is really not only the most realistic, um, but I think what will suit me best. This is a true 4.25 inch bait. The 130 is a big bait, and the 90, where I thought was going to be the deal, really think this 110 size is the most realistic, the best snack size bluegill imitator. And I mean, check out that color. This is just like a green sunfish type of pattern. They call it HD sunfish. So I envision myself throwing this either weightless with a screw lock in the nose, um, on a drop shot with a screw lock through the nose, or just flipping this thing rigged sideways, on an EWG. But yeah, the Gilly is one that I've always been curious about, but in the limited amount of time that I've spent with it, it's not like I've fallen in love with it. But I do think that it has a very realistic profile, and that there is a time and a place for it that that I think it will do really well. So I'm just, trying to have some on me for if and when that scenario might arise. You know what I mean? So that about does it for the shopping and the new products as of late. Um, but we can talk a little bit about fishing recently. We can talk about anything that you guys are down to chill about, or to talk about right now. Uh, yeah, Brendan, I understand it. Not a fan of Ketco products for many reasons. Adam says the HD Gilly smells, dude. It smells bad. Like straight up paint. Doesn't smell like power bait. Um, it's not a good smell. There's no way that fish are gonna like that, dude. So I agree. I don't know if I've just gotta soak that mofo in bait fuel like crazy before I rig it up or what, but you're right. Oh, Brendan, how are they different baits? What do you mean, bro? Matt says the Amakatsu huddle swimmers uh, stink a lot. Really? Hmm. Army Outdoors 88 says, "What's your take on the slobber knocker?" So I don't have a full take on it because I haven't tried it yet. It's interesting because it is a little bit different of a design. Um, is it revolutionary? No. Is it a game changer? No. Will it work its way into my rotation? I'm certainly open to that, right? I'm going to go into it the same way that I did with the Thunder Cricket when it was released, and I'm going to check it out. I'm going to get a feel for it for myself, right? Um, all these higher end bladed jigs are going to have their own pros and cons. The problem is the jackhammer is the standard by which everything else is judged. So it's very hard for a new premium bladed jig to come onto the market and to legitimately take some of that market share that is the jackhammer. Um, I think they might be able to just get a piece of, some hype, the idea of a new bladed jig, um, something that's a little different than a jackhammer. A lot of people will try it, myself included, for the sake of just wanting to know. Um, Apparently, it has a super fast vibration, yet a hard thump, which to me sounds like it doesn't quite make sense. But um, it's supposed to have a hard vibration, and it's supposed to come through cover really well. It's supposed to perform better than average, better than most through wood. So if that is the case, then by all means, there's going to be a place for it in my arsenal. But I'm not immediately just going to go buy 10 of them. I'm probably going to buy two of them and give it a fair shake, see how it goes. But I don't expect it to blow my mind. Um, yeah. So, Army, you says it's worked well for you this year. Interesting. Good deal. Good to hear. Adam says I retired my Thunder Crickets. Jackhammer is more effective. Um, I would not retire them, but I agree that side by side, the jackhammer is more effective. But what happens when you're not fishing them side by side? What happens when you're fishing the jackhammer and catching the crap out of them um, for an extended period of time? And then eventually those fish start to get conditioned to that. Or what if you have a cold front roll through and the vibration from a jackhammer is too much and it's a day that they're just not eating the jackhammer? Those are both times where switching to something like a Thunder Cricket um, can make a big difference because the Thunder Cricket is more subtle. It's faster. It's got that same immediate startup time and good thump to it, but it's a very, very fast vibration, very tight, um, and therefore much more subtle feeling in the tip of the rod. And you would assume that the frequency underwater is higher pitched and more subtle than the jackhammer as well. So I think it's a bait that you can fish faster, more effectively than the jackhammer. One that will do better in cold fronts and around more highly pressured fish or fish that are just conditioned to a jackhammer already, which I understand hasn't happened for a lot of people. It started to happen more for me this season a little bit. Brennan says lighter thump, less movement in the blade, so it goes through hardcover better. Daniel says, I feel like it has a lot less vibration than a jackhammer. Which one are you talking about, Daniel? Slobber knocker or the Thunder Cricket? Adam says most people I fish against won't spend money on a jackhammer. Well, there you go. Um, but in reality, when you look at the price difference between a jackhammer, a Thunder Cricket, and now a slobber knocker, they're all leaps and bounds more expensive than um, a standard bladed jig, right? The original chatterbait. Um, I would say an average priced chatterbait these days is still under $10. So when you're buying one for 12, 14, $16, um, it is what it is. But yeah, you're going to notice a big step up going from a standard chatterbait or an elite or a custom up to one of the three that we're talking about right now. So uh, I, you know, I don't get why you'd put your money on the line in fishing against other people, but then you wouldn't put that same money on the line to fish with the best stuff, or at least decent stuff. You know what I mean? Tim says, the darn eyes fall off the Thunder Cricket, and the skirts are spindly and thin. But that Thunder Cricket has a superior hook in it. It's an owner jungle flipping hook. It is an owner jungle flipping hook. That was one of the main selling points of this bait, if not really the main point, aside from the fact that they're just like, we worked with Z-Man. We have the direct blade to head connection. Check us out. They're like, oh, look at this guy though, and a slightly different blade that's thinner. And yeah. It's the hook is why people got this. But really, if you think about it, how much better is the Zowire owner jungle flipping hook than the Gamakatsu flipping hook that comes on the jackhammer? Um, somewhere between minimal and marginal. Not a lot. I'll say that much. But I have also had the same problem, Tim, with the eyes falling off. When I first did an unboxing video of this bait, that was what happened to me. I had bought like 3 or 4 of them, and the eyes fell off as I took it out of the package before I even fished it. That was a knock on the bait for me when it came to first impressions, but for sure. Adam says, I think the Elite is the next closest option. What, to the original? Yeah. Michael Bradley, it's after 12 there. Got to get up in the morning. Okay, Michael, have a great rest of your night, dude. Thanks for stopping by, man. I'm sorry for hopping on late here. This isn't going to be too much later of a live stream tonight. I apologize. My 4-year-old was being a challenge after I put her to bed. She just was not staying in bed. And yeah, so she's in my bed right now, and I don't know if she's sleeping, but either way, she's not down here right now interrupting us. So better than nothing. Brendan says a $200 rod and $100 reel, or $100 rod and $200 reel. Oh, that's a really good question, because if I try to come up with like a legitimate combo, um for the reel, I'd be stepping up to something in the ballpark of like a Daiwa Tatula SB. And I do think there's a significant difference there from what you get in the $100 price point with like an SLX or a Lose LFS or something like that. Um, so I like the feel of a $200 reel a lot more, but yeah, I think for most situations, I'm gonna go with the $200 reel on the $100 rod. Um, that's for now, given the way that I fish and the fact that I want to have different setups for like most different techniques that I fish. Um, if I were, say, one rod, one reel, and had to make that decision, I'd probably go with the rod, wanting something that's really going to strike that balance. Uh, but in this situation, I can kind of assume that this is somewhat technique specific, and that in a lot of those situations, it's not absolutely critical that the rod has the perfect bend. Um, in terms of power and action, I find that I can get away with a not quite right rod a fair amount of the time. There's only, but anyway, sorry, I'm just thinking out loud at this point. Daniel says go 150 on each and get decent on both. Yeah, that's a good answer, but you cheated, bro. Adam says, as it gets colder, I go lighter with my jigs. The new nano jigs on the market are nice for winter situations in spinning rods. Use a drop shot or Ned style bait as a trailer. Nano jigs. Nano jigs. Who makes those? What jigs are you talking about, man? Matt says, Tyler, if you can, I'd recommend trying to scoop up some of those Raid GIs before they sell out. Yeah, it is a small bait. What? That's like a 4-inch multi-jointed bait, right? It does look good for sure. You say, but the OSP Blitz Magnum Senior is bigger, and it's a well-made bait. So what do you say? The GI is a well-made bait? Yeah. Oh, Brendan, yeah, I TRT Nano Jig, Kitech. What's the Kitech jig? Damn it, spider jig. Tim says the Thunder Cricket will begin to rise in the water column as it becomes closer to the boat. Jackhammer maintains its depth longer, plus the blade starts immediately. That's an interesting take because I don't necessarily have the same experience. I find that the rise is about the same for me between the two baits. Um, I don't find that one stays down in the column better than another. Um, I think it when it comes to chatterbaits, the best way to keep it down in the water column is to go a little bit heavier in weight. I will throw a half ounce instead of a 3/8 if I'm looking to keep it down an extra couple of feet. But otherwise, um, it's not going to be until a little bit later down the road when the chatterbait world starts to evolve, like the JDM market, and these baits start to get all these different designs where the angle of the head, the shape of the head, where the blade is attached, how it pivots will all affect the um, the action and the diving depth and how a bait stays down versus rises up. But my dog is trying to get out. Sheesh. Matt says 4.5 is with the tail, but the body's 3.5. Interesting. That is a small bait, that GI. Adam says the missile baits Ike's micro jig. That's a good one. Z-Man TRD skirted. Yep. Molex nano jig. Oh, it's the Molex nano. That's right. Kitech salty spiders. Nice. All of those are good jigs, right? Tim says, what line do you throw your bladed jigs on, Tyler? I throw my bladed jigs on 15-pound the vast majority of the time. Just straight up. I will sometimes jump up to 16 or 17, but ordinarily, no, 15-pound is ideal for me because I do like to fish my chatterbaits uh, medium high in the column. And so, could you go lighter? Sure, but I don't fish heavier line all that frequently. 15-pound is kind of my middle of the road, do everything type of line. So, yeah, I'm throwing 15-pound uh, Seagar in Vizex a lot of the time. I'm also throwing the Yozuri T7 fluorocarbon as well. Those have been the main fluorocarbons that I've been using for the last few seasons. Interesting. Brennan says Sixth Sense is working on a bladed jig right now too. Very interesting. I did not know that. I wonder what their take on a bladed jig will be. I certainly hope it does not have anything to do with a split ring, but we'll see. Hair jigs. Yeah, Matt, you gonna throw some hair jigs, brother? This winter, I'm gonna try and throw the fat fly a little bit. Look at that tiny little floating fly little presentation. But I'm also gonna try and throw some of my, hand-tied marabou jigs. Some of these are absolutely super puffed out, dude. Crazy. that one looks pretty dang good. That's a lot of marabou on these guys, though. I'll say that. I loaded those bad boys up. Tim, I have thrown them on braid. I don't prefer it. I find that it's kind of like throwing chatterbaits on um, like a fast action or an extra fast action as compared to something more moderate um, in terms of bend. The action of your rod can make a huge difference. Like I saw someone post on Instagram the other day that like their go-to chatterbait setup is like a 7'3" medium heavy extra fast, and I was just like, wait a second, that doesn't make any sense to me, because when the fish eats the bait, you want a little bit of give for them to get it, for you to be able to set the hook and drive it home. If you've got too quick, too snappy uh, of an action in a rod, or too uh, not enough give in the line using braid versus fluorocarbon, even just that little bit of stretch that you get with fluorocarbon gives you that forgiveness, uh, just that little bit of time between a fish actually swallowing the bait and you setting the hook. I find that I've missed more fish by quick setting the hook on them using braid. I lose fish for the same reason when I'm using a rod that's not quite made for that purpose either. So hopefully that answers your question. Marabou collapses down to nothing when it's wet. That's true. Brendan, have a great rest of your night, dude. Um, Again, we'll be in here maybe 10 more minutes or so, and then that is it. It's gonna be a quick one tonight, guys. Synthetic fibers puff out most and fall slowest. Really? Tim says, I fish a lot of deep highland reservoirs where the fish will relate to deep cover. I actually use the 3/4 and the 1 1/4 ounce jackhammers a ton. That's wild, dude. Yeah, I have a couple of those. I don't think I've ever fished them. Um, well, dude. I mean, just crazy. Um, so yeah, I have one of each. For if and when, right? There's that 3/4, and then this absolute fatty, that 1 1/4. If I show you, how do I not have a standard jackhammer sitting around here, guys? What is up? Don't know, but the head size, I mean, it's drastic. This 3/4 is probably twice the size of a standard jackhammer head. Um, these heads are massive, and I have not yet come into a situation where I have thought, "Ooh, baby, we are fishing super deep," and right now the deal is crawling a chatterbait on the bottom down deep. But the thought crossed my mind that that situation could happen. So I have one of each of them, but literally that is it. So, in this drawer, I forgot that I had this bug bait. Um, do you remember me buying this from the hookup? This Mega Bass um, fur finish, the baby bug, dude. I should be fishing this by now. I need to put this in a tackle box. Holy shnikes. I forgot that I bought this bait. And now I want to go fish it so bad. Look at that little guy. Look, that's my thumb. I don't have big thumbs. But check out this fur finish on the belly. Can you see that? I mean, it looks like, I don't know, some nuggets of weed or something that have all the crystals on them, baby. I used to care so much about that shit back in the day. Oh, look at all the trichromes. All right. Oh no! The bait's so small, I might have just lost it. No! I won't give up on you. Where did you go? Got her. Bruce, I did not test it out yet, but I tell you what, I did find the line that I'm gonna put on it, and I'm gonna put on some 4-pound Cigar Invisex. I have 4-pound, so that is definitely one that I plan to rig up soon. I don't have a reel for it, so that's the problem, dude. Or I don't have a rod for it, and I want to make sure that I actually can dial in that setup. I don't need a super expensive rod. That's not what's important to me, but Tim says, I'm always interested to hear what types of setups people are having success with on different licks, though the truth is they all work, even the cheap Z-Man originals. That's true. If it works for you, then it works in general. So there is technically no right or wrong when it comes to fishing, and I am with you on that one, dude, for sure. Matt says the dank siglet. Yeah, super dank. Yeah, Tim, why is it that bug baits have become so popular in Japan? 1 to 2 inch bugs, uh, especially in soft plastics. Like, what are they doing with those? They drop shotting them? Are they just dead sticking them? Are they floating baits? Like, what's the deal? Adam, who are you talking about with the gizmos? I don't have that. Adam says I use the Chatterbait Micro a lot. I also use the Chatterbait Micro. I would probably go from either the Micro or the, why do I always forget the name of it? That naked one, the either way, the other tiny one. I'd go with one of those little guys. Then I'd jump up to the Mini Max, and then I'd jump up to the Jackhammer. That's kind of my. If I could only have one in each size, those would be the ones. At least for now, until I start trying some of these JDM bladed jigs, and then I'm gonna, change my mind, and all of a sudden, some of these baits are probably going to have a place in my arsenal that beats out existing ones. But yeah, I'm excited to go down the rabbit hole that is JDM chatterbaits, but I'm also, just like with anything else, I am nervous to invest too much time in it because how much does it really cater to all of you guys or help provide value to the mass market in me trying, borderline underground stuff? Even the Arma joint that I showed today and, these Shimano crankbaits are not like what most people are checking out and trying out. So, technically speaking, if I was looking to just get attention and grow a channel and put stuff out there that I know people are looking for, then I'd be trying the Z-Man Hellraiser and, like going way out of my way to only try the most mainstream baits. And don't get me wrong, I go after a lot of mainstream stuff and will continue to, but I'm at a point where I really am trying to strike a balance and feed my own desire and addiction uh, to try new and premium stuff out, right? So, I'm looking at a lot of stuff on my desk here, from big megabass jerk baits and big megabass top waters. Um, yeah, I regardless, I do it as much for me as I do it for everybody else. Um, Whereas before, when I first got into it, I think it was more about doing it for everybody else and wanting it to be about providing value and giving back, teaching and passing along the information that I, have acquired and that I'm appreciative of. But that has evolved a little bit over, the last couple of years, and I'm not necessarily just trying to put out information that I know everybody wants to find out, but I am trying to strike a middle ground, or will try and strike more of a middle ground from here moving forward. Well, Adam, you pull off half of the skirt material on the micro and it runs better. Interesting. That duo bug bait, says Matt. Interesting. 99% of people on YouTube are searching Ned rig. Yeah, that's true. That's why I think my most successful video up until now is a Ned rig video, um, and will probably be the case moving forward for a while. So I'm probably gonna make more Ned rig videos. I like to fish the Ned rig. A lot of people like to dog on it. I like to fish it. I caught a lot of fish on the Ned rig this spring, like a lot. That Molex stick flex has got to be one of the more underrated and one of my favorite Ned rig baits. I wish I had a pack sitting right here to be able to show you, but I have showed you guys those baits before. Uh, I've only got like a couple packs, like 2 or 3 different colors of them, and they're awesome. Of course, here's the Freaky Flex, um, but they make really good elastomer style baits. Molex, I like their stuff so far. Tim says, I do know that bank fishing is a huge deal in Japan, and thus a lot of your JDM baits are designed with bank fishermen in mind. I'm guessing their shallow bass may prefer bugs. Yeah, maybe. I mean, bass like bugs in general. So, yeah, I don't quite know, but Is that why Burley's videos get watched so much? Is he post a lot of Ned rig stuff? Adam says, I can't stand the Ned, but I get that it works. The Freaky Flex is my Ned go-to lately. Yeah, that's the Freaky Flex right there. Really good bait. I almost like it better on a sorry, either like a short leader drop shot, Jika rig type of situation. Um, I love just the wild action that this thing has. It just has so much going on with all these different appendages. These two balls on here, these little flappers, and it's just got a great profile. And I like the shape of the body and how it's thicker in the head and thinner in the body, if you notice that, by about a half. It's like they just cut the tail section of the body in half, like they fillet it. So you get more meat up in the nose, more buoyancy there, and then just a ton of action in the body and tail of that guy. So really cool bait. Not sure how my dog just got upstairs. Maybe one of my daughters is awake and let her out, or maybe she snuck out, managed to open the door herself. But Adam, I'm with you that the Freaky Flex is a really good bait. Tom says, Adam, I've fished the Chatterbait Minis along with a 4-inch Kitech Easy Shiner on them without changing the direction of the hoot tail I've cut. Well, okay, so the Easy Shiner, that's not a standard paddle tail swim bait, okay? I have a video on Chatterbait trailers, and I talk about this very thing, that in general, a paddle tail swim bait on the back of a chatterbait is not a good thing, right? And that's thinking about specifically like a Kitech or a Rage Swimmer style boot tail, right? That has that wide kick, that slow, wide, methodical kick. So you throw a chatterbait disturbance in front of that, and all of a sudden that tail that was kicking like this starts doing this, and it just starts waving up high. It starts looking weird. So you flip that bait upside down, and then it kind of has a little bit more of a traditional kick to it. But there are some exceptions that of paddle tail swim baits that will work on the back of a chatterbait without any issue. And there's a number of them on the market. The Z-Man Diesel Minnows is one of them. The Reaction Innovations Skinny Dipper and other similar baits with that kind of curved down uh, paddle tail to it that is meant for more of a burning style retrieve, has more of a fast kick to it, can certainly work. And a Yamamoto Swim Senko is an underrated um, swim bait that works well as a chatterbait trailer, in addition to the Kitech Easy Shiner and even the Swing Impact. The Swing Impact is a lot more of like a worm than a paddle tail swim bait, but they're both good, dude. Sorry, Tom. Adam's been using the lifted jigs, Ned EWG. I love that one, dude. You talk to owner or to the owner of lifted jigs. He said Tackle Warehouse dropped them because they couldn't produce the numbers. Um, yeah, I was curious about that too. You know, lifted jigs seemed like they kind of fell off the map because they were in high demand, but mostly just those Ned jig heads. Like it's not like the company is blowing up or anything, but they were kind of the first ones to make that Ned uh, EWG, and I still think, even though it's a VMC hook, it's a really, really good Ned hook. Yeah. I love it. Still throw it. Still will continue to. But um yeah, it's like they disappeared. It's like they stopped working on the business because maybe it's a secondary job for them or something like that, or something else went wrong. But it's like they disappeared and their stuff wasn't really available for purchase much. They were off social media and everything. So now they seem to be back. I don't really know how to explain what's going on there, but I know that you can get their net EWG hooks now. So Matt says, Tyler, what big swim baits do you use for the fall, soft bait wise? So um, big is relative for me, right? And you know that by now. But for me, the first place I'm going to go is a mag draft. Uh, I am usually looking to fish medium fast in the fall. And so I do feel like there's a wide variety of things that can be fished effectively, and I'm curious to get to know certain baits better, like the Gancraft Bariki shad, and I want to throw the Scottsboroughs more than I do. Uh, the Amakatsu Stealth Swimmer is one that really just needs to be tied on for me. But in the fall, I find that I'm not as focused on a weedless presentation. So I'm more likely to go to, a pre-rigged um, mag draft. So I will probably try the 8-inch mag draft, the 9-inch mag slow this fall, but I don't know that for certain. Um, but it's mostly the mag draft, dude. Um, I mix it up a lot when it comes to swim baits. I am not super loyal to any one swim bait, especially when it comes to soft baits. So I want more of a traditional paddle tail swim bait that's going to resemble a shad more than anything. Really, a gizzard shad this time of year is what my bass are looking to feed up on uh, going into the fall. Yeah, Tim, that's an interesting point. You say you used to throw a swim Senko a lot until you notice your buddies starting to throw them, and that you go out of your way to throw stuff that's different. I kind of do too. So I hear you, and that's why I don't fish with other people a lot here locally. I don't have a lot of friends that I grew up with that are also super passionate about bass fishing. So a lot of my fishing is solo here locally, and yeah, so I'm not sharing a lot of information about what I'm using. It's really just the fish that know what I'm using. Adam, what a great point that is. Magdraft 6 or 8, adding a nail in the belly. I haven't done that, but I fully intend to do that this fall. I don't know why this is the only one that's sitting here close by, but we can go with it. So I did recently see that that modification and want to give it a go. So adding nail weights to the belly of a mag draft will allow this bait to be more stable at high speeds. So I've talked before a number of times about just how good of a bait the 6-inch mag draft is, but that I don't love that it's somewhat speed sensitive. You can't fish this thing super slow, and you also can't burn it. So it has to be this medium to medium fast retrieve, um, is where I like it. Some guys like it more of a medium slow, but you can't quite burn this bait as it is. So if you add some nail weights to the belly for stability, all of a sudden you can fish this thing a whole lot faster. I saw a video on that just very recently, and that caught my attention and made me want to give that a shot ASAP. So I am going to do that right away. So thank you for the reminder, dude. Matt, I've tried the brookie shads, but I just haven't caught fish on them yet. That XPS minnow, huh? Yeah, I never bought that bait, but I know about it and some of the stories behind it. But Army says, do you mix and match colors on jigs or chatterbaits? Sometimes, usually it's only when I have to. Uh, like if I'm out fishing and I've brought what I've got with me, and I don't happen to have anything that matches really well, I'll do that. But ordinarily, I am someone who prefers to match than to mismatch. Oh man, I thought I was going to be able to last, but um, I have got to pee really bad, so I'm just going to go right here, real quick. You guys hang tight. Peeing in a cup, as usual. Peeing in a cup. So here's a couple jackhammers. I can show you the size difference in the heads. The 3/8 versus the 3/4 versus the 1 1/4. It's absolutely bonkers. Here's the 3/8. Here's the 3/4. These are literally right next to each other right now. And here is the 1 1/4. So yeah, big difference. South Jersey, full moon, cold front coming to us tomorrow. Adam, what are you throwing in that situation, dude? Um, Matt says I'm going to be using the working class zero citizen tomorrow. Hopefully, get something off that. There's still a lot of grass at your local spot. My grass is dying down. That has started to happen for sure. I'm getting bit less in the areas where I ordinarily do and did throughout the summer. So the fish are definitely on the move for me. Bruce says, Tyler, how far are you from the city park in Denver? I saw a post with a largemouth, had to be at least 5 pounds. City Park is about a half hour from me, and it is not a great place to fish. I don't know if that would have actually been City Park in Denver. It could have been, but historically, not a great spot to fish in Denver. Adam says, I put a nail directly behind the hook on my mag draft, but I think it needs to go a little further back. I think it needs just more weight. I think 2 nail weights and, maybe even like 1/16 ounce nail weights. If you can get some tungsten nail weights and really get them up in there, I think that's probably the deal, is adding a relatively significant amount of weight to the belly of that bait for the sake of stability. But yeah, I'm excited to try that little hack. Tim says, I've only caught 2 fish on that 10-inch all the times I've thrown it. Yeah. Daniel says, I'm thinking I need to get some 3/4 or more for the lake that I've been fishing. 3/4 ounce chatterbaits. Yeah. I mean, only thing is, like, if you know you're fishing a spot that's 15 or 20 feet deep and you know the fish are hugging the bottom, or hanging near a drop off or a place where they can ambush, then by all means, you need to get your bait in that area. And using something like a 3/8 is just going to be ineffective because you wait for that thing to get all the way to the bottom. You start working that bait, and what happens is it rises up and starts swimming. Even if you're slow rolling that thing, which is not going to give it the best action. In my opinion, a jackhammer needs to be fished medium to medium fast speed to get um, the most action and to trigger the best response out of fish. The noise that the jackhammer puts out, in my opinion, is why it gets bites. So, what a park description! Yeah, City Park in Denver, right? Does City Park have a golf course and a yuppie wedding rental area? Yeah, it does. Going to be using the OSP Xeron jig with the Noise Escape Twin. Nice. And rattle traps, storm lightning shads, a couple swim baits. Matt, getting after it. Um, Sounds like a good day, man. I am jealous. I'm not able to get out tomorrow. It is cold here in Colorado, guys. It's 46 degrees right now. Um, this is like a legit cold front where we're getting lows down in the low 40s, highs in the 50s, sometimes in the 60s and 70s now. But really, we're like true fall weather. Colors are legit changing and temps are falling. So it will be interesting. I'm just hoping to catch a couple of good fish between now and the end of the season, which for me is just going to be in a month from now. So there's not going to be a million opportunities to get out. I'm going to try and do my best to time it around the moon phases and the right time of day. But you guys know by now that I don't always have that luxury having 3 children and a wife that works and a full-time job myself. It's difficult to manage time wise and get away and buy the time for myself, exactly when I want it. But that's all right. Dang, Matt says this will be the second time out after not going a couple of weeks. I was dying. I would be too, dude. If I go a full week without fishing, it hurts. Adam says I have an Aruka bite on. Think it's a good loud trap. Great nose down. I agree. The Aruka shad is definitely a good bait. It has that self adjusting line tie, a lot like this Thunder Cricket on that. Oh no, not the Aruku shad. I was thinking the Storm Arashi um, vibe, not the Aruku shad. But the Aruku shad is a really good bait. And you're right, nose down. Tim, I'm not surprised to hear that you've caught fish yo-yoing a super heavy 1.25 ounce trap off the bottom. Because I've done that with half-ounce traps or half-ounce chatterbaits and whacked them on it the exact same way. So in slightly deeper water, I would imagine that style retrieve uh, absolutely kills them. That hard fall and crash um, has got to be pretty sweet. Tom says Arlo is going to be 37 tonight. High of 63 tomorrow. Bruce says 73 tomorrow. I'll be fishing before 11. Lucky duck, dude. Daniel says I've been lucky. Been fishing 3 to 4 times a week lately, even if it's just in the afternoon. Nice. Man, I'm jealous. I'm jealous of all of you guys. I have not been fishing a ton in the last couple of weeks. I've gone out maybe twice a week on average for the last month, maybe a little bit more than that, but the amount of fish that I've been catching has gone down significantly. So, um, I've caught them on a drop shot, I've caught them on a chatterbait, caught them on a Okashira screwhead and an underspin. But yeah, just the number of bites that I'm getting has gone down significantly. And my only guess is that it's the fish transitioning and just acting funny. Adam says I bought a Wamiku from Spro. Not sure I like it. Fatter, little duller sound than the Aruku. Wamiku. Do I have the Wamiku shed? I don't know if I have that. I mean, I've got the Arukus for sure. But that Wamiku just doesn't grab my attention quite as well. But here's that Arashi that I was talking about, and that self-adjusting line tie. Anyway, it is trap time of year. So yeah, if you're not fishing a lipless, you should be. It's that time of year to be throwing something just like this guy right there. Little chrome lipless crankbait will do the trick. Wow, Matt. Yeah, that's a good idea. I don't blame you at all. Go down south during the wintertime, dude. Nice. Tim, you just followed me on Instagram? Well, thank you, man. Um, Hopefully you'll start seeing some more regular content there very soon, my dog. Daniel says underspin has been my best bait. Yeah, underspin's been good to me as well recently. Especially an exposed underspin. Really, it's been good ever since I started trying out the new Scottsboro tackle swim baits. Me and Fishing with Gramps hit Bluegrass Wildlife Management Area today in Indiana. Fall bite is on, says Army. Nice, dude. Sweet, sweet. Tim, just tell us already. What is the favorite lipless crankbait? What is it, dude? Hasn't been made in a while. Tom, that sounds pretty good. You've been able to fish an hour or two the last 3 nights, averaging 5 fish per hour. Nice, dude. That sounds awesome. Tim says, "Come on, Tim. What's your favorite lipless crankbait? We need to know, guys." I will say, I am very excited, very happy about the fact that the LV 150 is just a thing now. I like to fish lipless crankbaits in shallow to medium depths. I don't fish lipless crankbaits super deep all that often. And so I have always felt like the LV 500 is a very effective but very fast falling lipless crankbait that for me has sometimes stayed down a little bit too well at 3/4 of an ounce. It has wanted to stay a little bit too deep for my liking in a lot of scenarios. So, um, to see that the same profile, same bait, same internals now exist in a smaller size, smaller package, just a standard trap size, in this half ounce. Um, I mean, I love it. I like it. 3/4 ounce Excalibur was Adam's favorite. Nice. Daniel colors the tail on his uh, swim baits with Spike It. Nice. That's something that I don't really do. I have done it before, but um never noticed a drastic difference for me. But that's awesome that it does for you, man. Yeah, the Duo Realis Apex 5 100 is one that I nearly tied on the other day, dude. I looked right at it, I shook it, and then I didn't tie it on. This is a bait that like I need to start throwing, dude. I've got it in this wicked chartreuse and purple. Got it in this awesome gizzard shad color. I mean, it's an oversized lipless crankbait, but one that you can work a bit more slowly and that just has a really good methodical swim to it. Um, but I don't know why I haven't used it. I haven't really put it to use. Oh, the old 1 ounce cotton cordell. Nice, dude. Interesting. Yeah. Hard to find. You're right about that. Tom, I put that shit on everything. Tom puts Spike It on everything as well. 3/4 ounce, one knocker. Nice. Yeah, the Booyah is very similar. I mean, it's essentially the same thing as the Excalibur, right? I mean, I didn't fish the Excalibur. I wasn't super into bass fishing back then, so it I couldn't tell you. But how different do you feel that the Excalibur baits, in terms of the square bill and the lipless in particular, are different than what you get now with the products from Booyah? Um, I don't know. Tim Dunn, late to the party indeed. Hour and a half. I didn't think I would be on quite this long. The main thing that you missed tonight, dude, was the unboxing of this guy right here. This is the new Shimano Arma joint 190 with Arma Boost technology. Check that out. It's a swim bait that folds up on itself during cast. So picked up a couple of these from Discount Tackle and pumped about them. But thank you for stopping by, man. I'm gonna hop out of here in just a second, I think. Tom puts orange on the belly and chartreuse on the tail. Nice, dude. Hmm. Adam says paint's a big deal. Maybe the Excaliburs had better paint. Yeah, Tim, the Arma joint is sweet indeed. So check it out. Feel free to watch the replay and me showing these baits, talking about them up close. But I am definitely interested and curious to try these ASAP. Very cool looking bait that Shimano just put out this year. Does a couple things different than most other baits that are out on the market, and we'll see how it goes. So, guys, thank you so much for hanging out tonight. I've been on for an hour and 35 minutes. It is 11:07 my time. This is after 1 a.m. Eastern. I'm gonna dip out of here. Um, my wife is working tomorrow night. there is a chance I will be back on tomorrow, but I am working. I'm with my kids Sunday morning and then working an extra long shift on Sunday afternoon. So, uh, fingers crossed that everything goes smoothly tomorrow, and then I'm feeling uh, full of energy and down to hop back on tomorrow night. So, guys, thank you so much for hanging out. Give this video a thumbs up if you haven't already. Appreciate you guys' support, the camaraderie, the community. You guys are cool. Have a great rest of your night. Enjoy your weekend. Happy Friday night, guys. Cheers.